Alrighty guys, TeddybearXD back with another video. Today we're going to be doing more Rainbow Cup battles, and I'll be against Ravage again. He's probably my best opponent for these battles. We know each other pretty well. We can kind of exploit each other's weaknesses so that we're ready for the upcoming tournament. So let's go ahead and get right into the commentary here. So I like running. I'm pretty much bringing Meganium every time because I expect to see Quagsire a lot. I like Mantine a lot, as you could probably tell from my previous video. So I decided to run Azumarill in the front with Quagsire, and Fortress decided to leave me Mantine out for now. Try out some new lineups just to get some variety. Testing out different team comps. So that's something I would recommend to everyone watching this. Try out some different team comps. Don't always do the same thing over and over again, so you can see what you're weak to and what you're strong to. So he starts out Venusaur, not a great matchup for me, but I don't have that much. I didn't want to bring in Fortress right away, just because it would get countered so hard and I kind of need it later to take care of the grass types. So I blocked that Frenzy Plant and get off an Ice Beam, hoping he'd block here, which he does. Ice Beam probably wouldn't kill, but it would do a ton of damage. So I'm just trying to get to another Ice Beam here. I need to block this Frenzy Plant, and I'll go ahead and fire off an Ice Beam, hoping to get his second shield or get him super low. So he does block. And I expected him to get to Frenzy Plant here, so I make a switch into Fortress right as he's throwing his Frenzy Plant, so I can tank a bunch of that energy and just start farming. And Charizard comes out. That's what I was afraid of. I tried going for Rock Tomb. I probably should have just settled for Heavy Slam, but it is what it is. I expect him to throw a move right away, so I switch into Azumarill. I knew Azumarill didn't have too much HP, but it can tank a Blast Burn still. I get to the Ice Beam, it'll do an okay amount of damage here, and those bubbles are really doing work as well. Get him pretty low, and he's forced to use another charge move, and it's a Dragon Claw, but it doesn't matter, it knocks me out. And I bring in Quagsire, farm it up a little bit. I was fairly certain he wasn't going to get to a charge move, so that was good. Let's see what he brings in. Venusaur. I know I need to throw a Stone Edge right away so I don't get Frenzy Planted or I die. So I'll go ahead and knock that out. And he brings out his own Quagsire at full HP, which is a big problem. I do get to Earthquake, but it does not quite do enough damage, and he's able to get to a charge move, which will knock me out. It doesn't really matter what it is. Earthquake, Stone Edge would probably still KO at that HP. So I cut it close. Well played by him. I did try to come from behind after a bad lead and ended up getting pretty close, so I'm not too sad about that loss there. So I am gonna switch up my team comp a little bit. I'm gonna try running Raichu here, as well as bringing back the Mantine and the mandatory grass type. So this team comp's not too bad. It's not weak to a whole lot of stuff. because Raichu can handle the grass types as well as Charizard. And other stuff. Really, there's not one counter to my team. Quagsire could be bad if he gets rid of my grass type, so I need to save my grass type in the back because it counters both Raichu and Mantine mostly. So I just need to be aware that my grass type is very valuable to take out the counters to my team. You'll always want to be aware of what your weakness is so that you can be prepared to either shield twice on one Pokemon just to get rid of your counter or know when to switch in. So he leads Quagsire. That's a really bad matchup for me, so I gotta switch right away. Right into Meganium. Do an okay amount of damage and he switches out to Lantern, which is a good matchup for me. Not sure if that was a mistake or if he didn't really have anything else. But I throw the Frenzy Plant, get a shield. I get to another Frenzy Plant. Vine Whip charges so fast. I changed up my Meganium to have Vine Whip instead of Razor Leaf, so it charges moves faster, and we take out the Lantern right away. And he brings in Venusaur. So he didn't... I think he should have brought in Venusaur to begin with. That would have been a better matchup than Lantern, but he brings out the Venusaur now. Does bait me with the Frenzy Plant, which is fine. I was going to block either way. I try to bait him with the Frenzy Plant, and we get it. So now he's got 0 shields. I'm just trying to get to Earthquake here. He gets a move off. Either way, I'm going to block it. And we get to an Earthquake. And I bring in Mantine to finish him off. He brings in Quagsire. Hits me with a Stone Edge. It'll do okay damage, but I have a lot stored up here. Go ahead and throw the Water Pulse. Still have 3 Pokemon, so this getting fainted is not a huge deal to me. So that goes down, but I just bring in Meganium to finish him off. And that is game 2. So it's always good to be aware of what your opponent has. Being able to switch into a charge move that's not going to do very much damage is great because it gets rid of energy without doing a lot of damage, which really cuts down on their efficiency. So I'm looking at my team. I'm debating on what to lead. I decided to lead Meganium with Raichu and Mantine, and I've noticed people like leading Quagsire or water types, which he does lead Quagsire, so that's a great opening match for me. He decides to switch into Venusaur. I go ahead and bring out Mantine. I decide not to shield there. Frenzy Plant does a pretty good amount of damage, but I figure I can get to 2 Aerial Aces and either burn both shields or still knock him out while saving a shield. So he does decide to shield. I still have him about half HP and barely able to get another Aerial Ace off, which is huge. And he does decide to shield it, and he does throw a charge move. And I definitely don't need to block this because I'm not going to get another charge move off. So I've burned both shields. I still have both of mine remaining, and he has 0. So I bring in Meganium. I didn't really have a choice. Quagsire would have been bad. I'm going to block this no matter what it is. and it is the Sludge Bomb, which would have basically one-shot me. So I'm just gonna farm up here. He does get to another charge move, but I have a ton of energy banked. I'm hoping to feint him here with just fast moves, and barely. He could have gotten to a frenzy plant. It wouldn't have done that much, but we have a lot of energy banked here. So let's see what he's going to bring out. It is going to be Quagsire. This should one-shot him. And it does. And I still have enough for another frenzy plant, so I go ahead and throw that at the lantern. It's going to do a lot of damage, nearly one-shots it, and I can get to another frenzy plant. I changed Meganium to Vine Whip. It stores so much energy. It just happened to be that two of his Pokemon are very weak to grass, so that's another instance of where knowing what your opponent likes to run or knowing what your opponent has on their team is very important, so you can prepare successfully and run the correct team comp. So thanks guys for watching the video. Go ahead and leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video and if you learned something, and let me know in the comments if you learned something and what your team comp would be against my 6 Pokemon. And thanks for watching. I will catch you guys later.